What's up, everyone, and welcome to another live stream right here on the Slam Sessions YouTube network. I'm your host, Albert Albanese, and I know it's a little impromptu, but I did kind of put up a post yesterday saying I was going to go live, so here I am. I'm live. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well. Today, I am going to do what I think I am best, and that is, oh, here we go. What's up, TJ? Yeah, it might be. It might be a little rough, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm starting to get a little aggravated as normal. It's WrestleMania season. There's a whole bunch of things going on, so I'm obviously getting irritated with wrestling fans and the dirt sheets. So I really don't have a. Yeah, if Michael Cole was here, be calling it TJ. I really haven't had a good rant on this channel yet. There's a whole bunch of things that I kind of want to rip into. So I figured, hell, just take, about a half hour out and just go for it, right? So to start off, what's up, Double A? How's everything going? So to start everything off, I'm just going to, run it down. There's a lot of different things that have been going on over the past couple of weeks that have really kind of been, get me agitated. And as a hobby, I used to go on my favorite wrestling sites and go into the comment section on Facebook and just destroy people. But I've decided, you know what? At this point, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to save all my good points and all my rants for here. This way, my fans actually see it. I'm doing good, Double A. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. So, first and foremost, recently, a bunch of rumors have been floating around. But one of the things that we know that's a concrete fact is that Torrie Wilson will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. A lot of people are now focusing on the fact of, well, Torrie doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. She never won a championship. She doesn't deserve it. There are much more deserving women, yada, yada, yada. Guys, have we not gotten to the point where we don't understand what the Hall of Fame is? It's Vince McMahon putting whoever he feels, is best at that time. Believe me, TJ, I will totally get into the whole Ronda situation. But it's Vince McMahon at the time and the WWE feeling who they feel deserves to be in the Hall of Fame at that point in time and who fits best for the card that year. We have to start thinking of WrestleMania, as the Hall of Fame as a WrestleMania card. Not every match at WrestleMania can be a main event match. Either that or we don't know what a main event is. So that's a big thing that we have to, kind of conceptualize here. The Hall of Fame can't be, number one main event A-list talent going in every year. So we have to, they might make a change to the Hall of Fame. TJ, no, please enlighten me. Let me know what you've heard. Not everybody can be, the main attraction. This is, and if I correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this is the first year we have two women going into the Hall of Fame in the same year. Yes, I understand Chyna's a part of DX, but Chyna is going into the Hall of Fame. She'll probably go in twice and be the first and possibly only woman in professional wrestling to ever go into the Hall of Fame twice, and deservedly so. But we're not taking into consideration the fact that not only is Chyna getting in, but Torrie Wilson is getting in, and it's the first year that we have two women both being put into the Hall of Fame in the same year. That's a big deal, guys. And we're concentrating on, well, Torrie doesn't belong in there. We've seen there are so many other girls who have won championships, like Gail Kim and Victoria and this one and that one, and they deserve it. I don't know what Torrie Wilson's ever done except for being Playboy and compete in bikini matches. Yeah. What she did was she brought eyes to the product. Sells. I'm sorry to say it, but it's the truth. So they're trying to cut down the length, so they're looking to get rid of people inducting people. Example, Molly Holly inducting Ivory. I don't like that. I think that they just tell them to keep their induction speeches short. People should be inducted into the Hall of Fame by other people. That was one of the foundations of the Hall of Fame. That's great. DX is going in. Who's inducting them? I would want to know that. I don't want to hear, because I get we have a video, but I like the idea of the personalized stories that, people tell. So just cut down on it. Simple as that. But Torrie brought eyes to the product. What I find to be funny is that a lot of the people who are complaining about, we're not getting in, who were wrestlers into the Hall of Fame. TJ, you might be right. And Double A, I don't see the Hearts ever really going in. And if going to be the Hart Foundation, which I didn't do this year because it was that was the rumor and said it was DX. Which I think they're just going to wait until the whole Owen Hart thing may blow over. They get Martha to let Owen Hart just be enshrined into the Hall of Fame, kind of a deal. This way they can put them all in and probably how that works out. But Tori, these guys who were saying these things are the same guys that were watching during the Attitude Era and saying, I don't care about women wrestling. Just bring out Trish and let her have bra and panties matches all the time. That's all I care about. Double A, I pray for a Scott Steiner Hall of Fame speech once. But that's what they wanted. They wanted, because we were young, testosterone-driven guys. We wanted to see, we were in our teen years. We wanted to see, the mud wrestling, the bra and panties matches, hot women just coming out and doing what they do. Yes, do we appreciate women for where they've come in the wrestling industry, and do we appreciate them for the athletes that they've become? Absolutely. Wrestling has changed. The dichotomy has changed. And we've gotten to a point where we appreciate women for being female athletes. The women's revolution turning into the women's evolution, turning into, the introduction of somebody like Ronda Rousey. And yes, society has changed too, Double A, 100%. But Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke, Marina Shafir, the four horsewomen of the MMA, now in the WWE. Whether they be in the main roster or on NXT, legitimate women's athletes are checking out the WWE. Chris Cyborg was at the WWE Performance Center at one point. We have legitimate MMA stars looking, to break out of being an MMA competitor and break into the wrestling business. Matt Riddle was in the UFC, and now he's on the, I'm sorry, I was going to say SmackDown roster. He's on the NXT roster. Legitimate athletes are looking at the WWE as being a legitimate sport. And, that's a big deal for a lot of things, but that wasn't the way it always was. If you look back at the Attitude Era, we had Deborah, we had Sable, we had, in the very early stages of her career, Trish Stratus. These were, beautiful. Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler, beautiful women that were there to be just that, beautiful women. They had girls who could work, like Ivory, like Jacqueline, like Molly Holly, like Tori, not Tori Wilson, but Tori. Girls who could work. And people seem to be less interested in seeing that. So that's why Tori Wilson is going into the Hall of Fame. It's a cataclysm. It's a standard shift. It's there's a paradigm shift now, but at this point, Jazz too, absolutely. I think Jazz deserves to be in the Hall of Fame as well. But it was a moment in time where women were looked at as just being eye candy. And yes, Ivory was underrated. A lot of these girls are underrated, and if they were wrestling, and Molly Holly too, if they were wrestling at this time, even to a point, you can even make the argument for Beth Phoenix, Gail Kim, Karma. Even, I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of her, but I thought Michelle McCool, wound up, I know she was married to The Undertaker and, dating The Undertaker, that maybe that's why she got her push, but even she was underappreciated. I thought she was a pretty good worker. She wasn't just a pretty face. She tried to learn her craft. And those women were underappreciated. Tori going into the Hall of Fame doesn't bother me because she represents that period of time where she played the perennial diva. Just because the perennial diva didn't win championships doesn't mean she's not Hall of Fame worthy. We've seen people who haven't won championships in the WWE get into the WWE Hall of Fame. We've seen people who haven't even wrestled in the WWE, or better yet, wrestled 3 matches in the WWE and gotten into the Hall of Fame. I'm fine with Tori being in there. And I'm aggravated and agitated that people aren't. But that's just me. Some other things that are making the news lately. What do you think of an ECW legend going in every year? I mean, Double A, it's a good idea. A buddy of mine actually said that the way that to structure the Hall of Fame is a top act, a mid-card act, a WCW guy, an ECW guy, and a female act. And that makes sense, except for the fact that after you run through. And look, I'm not taking anything away from the original ECW. I am the biggest original ECW fan. But yeah, absolutely, you're going to run out of guys soon. Rob Van Dam. I don't know if Shane Douglas will ever be in enough good graces to ever go in, but let's just count him. Rob Van Dam, Shane Douglas, Paul Heyman himself, Tommy Dreamer. The Dudleys already in. Raven, Taz, Sabu. I'm out. Sandman, maybe. What's up, Cody? But these are that's it. We'll have like what, a 10-year run. WCW they have a lot more traction. I like the idea of Bam Bam Bigelow was rumored to be going in this year, and I don't know. The Hall of Fame is not like a baseball Hall of Fame where we're going to induct. I think those are the same guys. Mike Awesome maybe on the fence. With that he didn't have a good career in WWE, but I mean it is what it is. But yeah, TJ, Bam Bam might be going in this year. And, the Wrestling Hall of Fame isn't like the Baseball Hall of Fame where, people go in and put a hat on with a little sign on it. Oh, Lance Storm's a good choice too. I can see that. I'm okay with that. But, nobody's going in with an ECW moniker on their hat. Bam Bam can go in and, maybe Bam Bam's not. Bam Bam might go in under his WWE career or his WCW career or his, maybe his ECW career. It's just a collective state. So, anybody who've competed. Terry Funk deserves to go in there. But again, I mean, Terry Funk should go in there for his contributions to the NWA more than his contributions to just ECW. Foley's already in there. Cody, I would love to say Chris Candido. I just feel like he might not get in because of how bad Sunny's portrayed herself, and he's inevitably linked to her. Double M, the biggest Rob Van Dam versus Jerry Lynn match, series fan. I don't see Jerry Lynn being a Hall of Famer, not unless they're really trying to reach. So that's why I don't like that idea. Just because I think that people should go in upon their merit. I think Tommy Dreamer is a Hall of Famer. I think Raven's a Hall of Famer. I think Taz is borderline, but yeah, I would say Taz is a Hall of Famer because if you count his commentary work, Taz deserves to be in there. Damn, TJ. You had to throw out Ezekiel Jackson, right? And when the hell is Christian getting into the Hall of Fame? That's what I want to know. Dean Malenko's another good one. The Demolition. That's what I'm saying. We get hung up on Torrie Wilson being in the Hall of Fame. What does that mean for us? There are a lot of other guys who deserve to be in the Hall of Fame and there are other guys that are in there that maybe don't deserve it as much. Do Coco Beware and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and Regal absolutely belongs in there. But Coco Beware, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, do they belong in there before Demolition, Honky Tonk Man, several other Owen Hart, British Bulldog, several other guys that belong in there. It's a slippery slope. So moving on from the Hall of Fame, one of the other things that have been bothering me is that there's a lot of important. Yes, Cornette's a good choice too. A lot of people that have been reporting lately is that contracts are expiring and people are leaving. This is where the dirt sheets start to piss me off. I find it to be very ironic that every report that we've seen about someone leaving is someone who is an indie worker or has the vibe of being they could be really good on the indies, are leaving the WWE and not signing a contract. Over the past couple of weeks, we've had the Usos, the Revival, Gallows and Anderson are the most recent ones. Mike Kanellis, who was in Ring of Honor and in TNA. Everybody's saying, "Oh, they're not going to re-sign their contracts. They're ready to walk out." What's ironic is the fact that when Hideo Itami did, he said, "I don't want to be here anymore." It wasn't as publicized, and he got his release. When Ty Dillinger did it, he went on right afterwards and said, "Hey guys, I requested my release." And a couple of days afterwards, he was granted it. Vince McMahon has had an ideology in the WWE for years. And Bruce Pritchard preaches this. And I'm a big Pritchard fan. I love his podcast, but he preaches this all the time. Vince always says to people, if you don't want to be here, then fine, you can go. Are there exceptions? Sure. They try to keep Neville and CM Punk around. They try to keep other guys around. They wrote out contracts for certain people because maybe they got a little bit, mad at the fact that they were putting them in certain positions and they weren't happy with what they were getting, and all of a sudden they were leaving. But it isn't ironic that a guy like Ty Dillinger, who's now going to go by Shawn Spears, and I would assume will probably be AEW bound or work in the in Canada where he's originally from, do indies around there, maybe even go to a place like Ring of Honor where he can be appreciated as a television championship contender. Nobody made a big deal. No outlets broke the fact that Ty Dillinger asked for his release. Why was that? How come we got the Usos and everybody else? And TJ, I completely agree with you. If they want to go, let them go. See, now, Cody, TJP didn't ask for his release. He was just released. But my point is that it seems like everybody who we've reported has asked for their release have some sort of indie buzz behind them, and everybody's immediate reaction is, just go to AEW, go to AEW, AEW, AEW. We don't know what AEW is yet. And do you want to see AEW turn into WCW or TNA 2.0, where they have all these guys from the WWE that they go to re-sign? I'm sorry, that they go to sign, and then it becomes WWE 2.0? No! That's bad for their business. That's right. It's an Albert rant, Cody. This is where we're going. Guys, thank you again for your views, thumbs up, all that good kind of stuff. I appreciate that. And see now, all right, so here's the thing, Double A. I don't know if AEW will do anything impactful for the first 5 years. I think that their first year or two will be very, very good. I think it's going to be surprising to see if they hold on after that, because most companies that form, the buzz wears off and nobody cares. I want nothing but success for AEW. But I also don't want AEW to become a feeding ground for or a dumping ground for all ex-WWE talent. Will a guy like Ty Dillinger be good for AEW? Absolutely. He's a good worker. He's a good character. He's a solid athlete. This is what you want for a mid-card AEW guy. But guys, if we get Ty Dillinger going there, and everything else, every comment, because I follow him like a hawk, because I'm a huge fan, and because I'm a wrestling figure collector, every time Zack Ryder posts on anything, go to AEW. Can't wait to see you in AEW. When are you going to leave and go to AEW? The guy's got it made. He's getting back on TV. He's in a tag team with his best friend. He's working at the company that he's wanted to work at for the longest period of time in his entire career. Rusev, that's another one. How about Dean Ambrose? He's not re-signing. Now they mention it on TV. Guys, if they mention it on TV, it's got to be a work. I mean, that's always my thing. And maybe I'm wrong, but I'm sticking with it. It's a freaking work. This was something to drum up to get the Shield back together, because I think that they knew that Roman was getting close. They wanted to get Ambrose out of his heel turn and push him towards the face deal. There we go. And yes, Double A, that'll always be the place where people will go to earn a living and want to wrestle for their childhood company. I am not ashamed to say it, that if I tomorrow woke up with a perfect body and with the absolute gift to work a wrestling match, I want to go to the Performance Center. I don't want to go to New Japan. I don't want to go to Ring of Honor. I don't want to go to AEW. I want to be in the WWE, because that's what I grew up watching. These guys are where they want to be. A lot of people, get mad about the idea that everybody says, well, it's hurting their creative freedom. And Vince McMahon is obviously senile, needs to step down. Right. The guy who created everything that you see in front of you is senile and needs to step down. The other thing that really got me. Yeah, TJ, WWE is Disney. And yet, Double A, being a jobber isn't underrated, but being utilized to the best of your ability is hard to do on a roster with guys that everybody that are taking over, certain spots because they have indie buzz. Everybody wants to see Zack Ryder. Put Zack Ryder on Raw. Push Zack Ryder. And then as soon as they do it, they're going to be like, well, how come they're burying Ricochet and Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa? Where's EC3? You can't push everybody at the same time. It's not possible. And that's why I hate wrestling fans. Because the second we give you what you want, the second Vince McMahon gives into your wants and needs, it's never good enough. We all wanted Daniel Bryan to come back. He comes back, he wins the world title, and bam, 3 months later, all we want is Kofi. Now, I love Kofi Kingston. I hope he wins the world title. But Bryan just got the belt. And Bryan won the belt over AJ Styles, who was the world champion on SmackDown for a year. And what did everybody say when he first got there? I can't believe AJ Styles jobbed to Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. That's unbelievable. Just another guy they're going to bring in and ruin. Oh my God, he lost to Roman Reigns. Everybody jobs to Roman Reigns. AJ Styles is just going to be that guy. Bam, a year-long fucking title reign on SmackDown. Look, I love Dave to death, but Dave pisses me off when he says, well, he wasn't in the main event. He was the world champion, the most recognizable championship belt in the WWE with the longest lineage. He held it for a year. I get he's not in the main event. And yeah, maybe I'm not the biggest fan of WWE's booking, but that's not everything. CM Punk left because he thought that was everything. That's not everything. Being in the last match isn't everything. Stealing the show, being the guy who everybody talks about, being the main event match, doesn't mean it's on last. It means it's the buzzworthy match from what everybody was talking about. TJ, I agree. As long as you're on the card, you should be happy. And AJ Styles was being booked as the guy for the longest time. Yes, maybe they were brand specific, but he was main eventing pay-per-views. We can't bitch about people getting shoved down our throats, which is the worst phrase ever, and you guys have heard me rant on that. It's the dumbest thing ever. But we can't get held up on people getting shoved down our throats, but be okay when other people get those same pushes and nobody seems to mind. Seth Rollins has been main eventing every single Raw for the past 2 years. If he's not main eventing, he's in the most high-profile match. But nobody says he's shoved down our throats. I am only that Samoa Joe, WWE champion, and I feud with stuff. I wanted Joe to win the belt too. And yeah, AJ should have had one main event. I agree. One of his matches with Nakamura shouldn't have been the main event. The blow-off one, whatever the third match was, should have been a main event. I am not disagreeing with that. I'm not the guy who defends WWE's booking at all the time. Backlash, thank you, TJ. If that's the case, if that's what it was, that should have been it. What's wrong with this shoved down our throats phase is that it's subjective. Because if you want to get theoretical, AJ Styles was shoved down our throats. He was the main champion on one of the top 3 shows for a year. He's being shoved down our throats. Nobody's taking the belt off of him. And in that time, there were a lot of people that people wanted to see take the belt off of Styles. Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura are the first 2 that come to mind. Even to a point of Rusev. He kept winning. So doesn't that mean he's shoved down our throats? Roman's lost more matches than Styles, but he was still being shoved down our throats in people's opinion. Cody, I don't know if, Roman is over now. I think, he got some booze in Philly. I don't think he's over. I think this is a good start. I think that if they book him the right way, I think he can maintain where he's at the card. But all right, hold on. Wait, let me get back there. How wasn't Styles forced? If anything, Styles was forced even more. Sure, we didn't want Jinder to be the world champion. But the guy dethroned a guy who had barely any run because the company had given up on him. So, let's just throw the belt on the guy, on the guy that we trust, AJ Styles. If they would have did that with Roman Reigns, there would have been an uproar, a goddamn uproar. Can you imagine if Reigns was on SmackDown and he took that spot? People would have been shitting themselves. It's all subjective. We don't feel like AJ Styles is being shoved down our throats because there's Styles, Reigns, there were still stars being... Who? Who did Styles make? Who did Styles put over? You can say a lot about Roman Reigns, and maybe, at this point, he hasn't really put anybody, quote unquote, put anybody over. But Braun Strowman wouldn't be as big of a deal as he is right now if he wasn't throwing around Reigns for 3 months. And I get it, TJ. I do get it. And look, I love Andrade. He'll get there, Cody. In my opinion, he'll get there. I get it. Joe and Strowman and everybody else loses to one F5 and Reigns, kicks out of multiple ones. But that's always been the booking for the big guy. Cena always kicked out of finishers. Hogan no-sold everybody's finisher. Shawn Michaels kicked out of finishers. Bret Hart kicked out of finishers. When you're the main guy, you kick out of finishers. That's just the way it is. WrestleMania is the equivalent of that. The Rock and John Cena kicked out of 15 of each other's finishers. We can't be hung up on these things because at a point, we have to understand that they're giving us what we want and we should be happy for that instead of bitching about everything else. We got AJ Styles. Oh, there you go. Warrior no soul Triple H's pedigree. There you go. Perfect, Cody. Maybe Reigns isn't the guy. Double A, I don't believe that. I think Reigns is the guy. TJ, I get it. I understand that. But that was the story they were trying to tell. That you couldn't. Here's the thing, though. I get what you're saying, but he kicked out of 5 F5s, but he still lost. He didn't even win. He kicked out of all of them and still lost in the end. You want to talk about Roman getting shoved down our throats, but here's the fact, guys. Roman has had I believe he's had the world title over a cumulative period less than both Rollins and Ambrose. Way less than AJ Styles. Is he being put in main event spots? Sure, because he's going to be that guy. Am I okay with that? Yes, because I'm a Roman Reigns fan. But I'm also okay with it because I understand what he means to the business. If you guys saw the way he acted on Good Morning America, that's what the WWE wants. And Double A, Roman does have the look, but he also can speak well to the media. If not, TJ, if they're not, if Ambrose, if Reigns had the title cumulatively more than Ambrose, it's not by much. But Reigns is good for the media. He's good at press releases. He's good at signings. Cody, thank you for bringing that up. The Charlotte Flair argument's my favorite one. She comes out of NXT, has all this buzz, all this hype, and now all of a sudden, after everybody was praising her a year or two of, she's the best women's wrestler in the world right now. There's nobody that can touch her right now. She's putting on match of the year candidates with all the women she's facing. Now all of a sudden it's, oh my God, Charlotte. Double A, this is a different business. The WWE doesn't want Stone Cold anymore. They want Roman. They want Cena. That's what the WWE wants. They want superstars. They want people to go out in the media and spout WWE and bleed this company. John Cena changed the game. And as much as you can say Stone Cold wasn't a nice guy, sure, he wasn't. But he still went on Regis and Kathy Lee, and he was still awesome when he did it. That's what they need. And yeah, 6 out of 10 in wrestling ability, TJ, I'll give you that. And Dave is right. If they booked him a better way and they made him wrestle a little bit more, that's fine. And here's the thing. They got Becky and Ronda. Sure. But guys, you remember that if, where we'd be flipping out right now is that if everybody flipped out when Nia Jax broke Becky's face. But remember, that match was supposed to happen at Survivor Series. I don't know why it's a Survivor Series so weird. But that match was supposed to happen at Survivor Series. If Nia didn't break Becky's face, we'd be flipping out because the main event right now would be Charlotte versus Ronda, and that's it. Look, you guys want to talk, Double A, you're going to say that he's upper mid-card? And you're putting guys like Ambrose, Owens, Zayn, and Bryan above him? I call bullshit. Sami Zayn is not a main eventer. I'm sorry. I love Sami Zayn. I think he's great. He's not a main eventer. Owens, sure. Ambrose got a shot, and he shit the bed. It'll be a long time before they trust him to put a world title back on him again. And I do think Becky's a draw. And if Roman never got sick as champion, I think he'd still be champion. I think he'd be main eventing WrestleMania right now. Look at his heel work. What has he done? He hasn't impressed me. He made stupid jokes about Bobby Lashley. He was good with Kevin Owens because I feel like Kevin Owens carries him. But, that's the thing. I do think Becky's a draw, and I think this match is going to be great. But you got to remember that Becky Lynch wasn't supposed to be in this match at all. And if Nia Jax didn't punch her freaking lights out and give her a concussion, Becky wouldn't even be in this story right now. We're getting what we want. Becky Lynch is going to main event one of the first women to ever main event WrestleMania. I've been hearing that it's going to be Joe versus Cena at WrestleMania, but I mean, Owens isn't a bad choice either. Ambrose is unorthodox. I get it, but he's not Mick Foley. He doesn't take the risks. He doesn't take the falls. He doesn't take the bumps like Foley did. Could he? Sure, if he's booked that way. But he's not presented that way. We can't look at the way people are presented in CZW. We can't look at the way they're presented elsewhere. Because when you come to the WWE, Vince McMahon, Chris Jericho, Booker T, AJ Styles, Daniel, they all say the same thing. What you do in the past doesn't matter. It's what you do in the WWE. We have to judge them on that. Do they have the capacity to do those things? Sure, but we don't know if they can or not, and if they can do it successfully in the WWE. Because they haven't been put in that position. But we're getting what we want right now with Becky. And let's see where it pans out. But we should be happy that we got it. I've heard it might be Zayn versus Ali at Mania. I heard that Zayn's not even going to be cleared before WrestleMania. I heard he's coming back post-WrestleMania. But I mean, that's the thing. This is going back to what I said before. We're going by dirt sheets who have been wrong more than they've been right. The last thing they reported that I remember that was right was the whole deal with Ciampa going down with neck surgery, which sucks because Ciampa is one of my favorites and I wish that wouldn't have happened. But that's the last thing they got right. We have to start looking at wrestling as, sports entertainment, as a wrestling business. The other thing that really got me mad is that people are getting really upset about the WWE giving the media certain terms that they can use. That's always been the way. Double A, I don't mind Roman Reigns on the mic when they let him be Roman Reigns. I think that this last week on Raw, I think it was great. Because they just let him go out and just cut a promo like Roman Reigns. And I don't care about Meltzer. He is a fan. And I can't stand when everybody... But the thing is that everybody takes that what he says as gospel. When we see these things reported on all wrestling sites, and I'm a fan of a bunch of them because, when you're on Facebook, you just sign up for all these different, you just like all these different sites to try to get as much news as you possibly can. The thing I'm realizing is that the news is wrong, guys. All the news is wrong. And I don't believe any of it anymore. Maybe I'm cynical, or maybe internet wrestling fans have ruined wrestling for me. Maybe the dirt sheets have ruined wrestling for me. But we need to be happy with what we got. Cody, I'm a big fan of the Revival. I think they're great. Reigns can make people feel emotions, no question. All he needs to do to make people like him words, then the bitching stops. I agree. I think that if they give Roman the opportunity to just really be Roman Reigns, not write him and overproduce him so much, not try to feed him lines so much, let him just be the Samoan badass that he is. He doesn't need to say much. All he needs to do is to look at you and be like, well, I don't care. You can say whatever you want because I'm Roman Reigns. I'm coming for your title and I'm gonna win it. Believe that. I believe it. That's all you need. Yeah, don't make him the everyman. I would say Goldberg is a good way to book him. Let him run through people. He doesn't need to cut long promos. Not every champion has to do that. Here's the thing. Everybody talks about how much they love AJ Styles because how good he is, No, I get that. That suffering succotash thing was horrible. That's one thing, and we hang on that like it was the only thing that's ever happened. It's not the case. He's cut other good promos before. But everybody talks about how great AJ Styles is and how well-rounded he is and how good of a worker he is. But nobody talks about that he's not a good promo. But it's okay that Roman Reigns isn't a good promo? You got it. You can't pick one over the other. And I agree. I think Roman's that guy. He should be a guy booked like The Undertaker. Make him bulletproof. And when somebody beats him, it should mean a lot. That's the way you book Roman. Trying to think if that's pretty much what I wanted to cover today. I know I talked last time about doing an episode about factions. I'm gonna do that next week. My buddy Marcos made a whole bunch of really good analogies, matches, all this kind of stuff, like almost like a fantasy booking kind of a thing. And I want to. Thanks, TJ. Yes, and Samoa Joe and Owens are two of the best on the mic, and they should be pushed harder. I believe that. So I'm going to be putting that list together of what he said. I'm going to try to run that on Wednesday. My work schedule has been crazy, which is why I just haven't been able to be on here as much as I wanted to. But I should be in Jersey. In Jersey, I don't know why that makes a difference. I should be doing my show. Thanks, Double. I appreciate that. I should be doing this show more often. I should be working around my work schedule to make sure I can get these things out more often. I'm gonna try to keep them at about a half hour because that's a good time for me to go off and do all the other stuff that I have to do. But I do appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the views. I appreciate you guys, telling other people about this show. It really means a lot. If you can like and share and, have tell other people to subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. I'm going to try to do like I said, the faction shows soon. Double A, I'm telling Dave that because I should be with Dave on Monday. We should be doing our show together. If Dave's going to be around, then I should be there. So that should be a lot of fun to reunite us back together again after I've been doing these. I haven't been with Dave since I started doing these live streams, so you guys can tell him how much better I am than he is. Thank you, Double A. I appreciate that. I really do. So just before I go, a couple of little things. I got that, which is pretty much completely badass. I got a nice little Batman knuckle tattoo. I was never a big tattoo on a hand guy, but I don't know if you guys don't know. Thank you, TJ. I appreciate that. I don't know if you guys know really my backstory, but I was married. I've since been divorced. My papers are processing, so this is the last thing to do was to get the tattoo of my wedding ring removed from my finger. So I Batmaned it, and I feel pretty happy about it. Also, one of the other things that I wanted to do is, if you give me 2 seconds, I just want to give you guys, show you guys a little something. 1 second. You guys will probably hear me right now, but I should have had this prepared beforehand, but I didn't because I'm stupid. But I want to start doing the idea of what I've kind of purchased over the past weeks, or over the past time since we've been. Thanks, TJ. In all honesty, I'm a very lucky guy. I have found someone, and she's absolutely incredible. way out of my league. Hotter than I thought I could ever, than any girl thought I could ever get. So I'm a very lucky guy. And she is amazing and incredible and supportive and talented in her own right. And I'm trying to make her a wrestling fan, but it's been pretty hard. So I think what I might try to do is try to tell her to watch a little bit more so she can maybe come and do one of these live streams with me just to get another perspective on here. I'm going to try to also line up some guests. I have some friends who are big wrestling fans. I'm in talks to trying to do something with two of my friends and to do a watch along of an Attitude Era show and just point the camera at us and just joke around, have you guys, interact with us as well. So that should be fun. TJ, if wrestling figures got ladies, then I'd be a ladies man, but I'm not. What I did get this week though, was to add on to my Hasbro collection. I got the head shrinkers. I got some Mu and Fatu. I'm really excited about this. I also have a huge Hasbro order coming in. I have a huge retro order coming in too, which, stay tuned, guys. The next time I do one of these live streams, that's awesome, TJ. I'm glad you guys, you guys can do that. Double A, I didn't get any Regal figures now. I have about 3 of them myself. I know you're a big Regal fan. I love Regal myself, so I have a few in my collection. But I have a lot of stuff going on. So ironically, I think I showed you guys last time. I did get, and he's still up here because I didn't get to put him away yet. I did get this Jarrett figure a couple weeks ago. So yeah, I did get one recently. And the other thing I got was, it's funny because this has been my holy grail now. I have the ECW Landstorm figure, and I have the WWE Titantron Live, or maybe it's not the Titantron, maybe it's the Jax Landstorm. I'd have to dig for it right now though, and they're in 6 different spots right now, so it's kind of hard to get to. One day I will do a complete show. I know Harry has asked before. I'm going to do a complete show on all my wrestling figures. Double A, you don't have to do that, man. If I'm gonna use you, I'm gonna pay you for your work. That's the way I am. But right now, I'm gonna kind of rock with what I got, and then once we start catching some steam, then I'll put up the banner to change the pace a little bit. That's kind of the way I wanted to roll with it. But we'll get there, and I'm definitely gonna use you, Double A. Don't worry. But my Holy Grail came in today. One of the retros that I haven't gotten. Where were Arthur, Harry, and Josh today? I don't know. I got to start announcing when I'm doing these, and maybe we'll get a bigger live stream. The last time we had like 7 people in here, which was great, and I really appreciate that. The Almanacs. I got to come up with a name for this. The Know It All Nation rolls off a lot better than the Almanacs. But I got the big dog, guys. I got Roman. He's been hard to get for me. Out of all the retros, he's the most expensive. I have the other retros that I'm missing coming in. The only guy that I haven't bought yet out of Series 1 has been The Undertaker, which I'll get sometime next week when I get paid. And then Series 8, I had to start getting. Double A, absolutely. I'm gonna keep doing this. I don't care if 5 people watch. I don't care if 2 people watch. I don't care if nobody watches. I'm gonna keep doing it because I love it. And this is fun for me. It's fun to interact with you guys. It's fun for me to do these shows. And this is my passion. This is what I want to do. I'm writing, a bunch of other stuff, scripts. I do movie work and stuff like that. So I want to do that, but I also want to continue doing this. Thank you guys for viewing. Really, thank you guys for the likes. Thank you guys for the subscriptions. Thank you guys for liking the videos. Thank you guys for if you tell other people about it, I appreciate it. Also the other thing I want to do, I want to do a Q&A session, but I want to figure out how what the best way to do it is, how to get questions in and stuff like that, or if I can just broadcast it as a Q&A session, and I'll just answer all your questions. It could be anything about me, anything about the what I like, wrestling related, thoughts on anything when it comes to wrestling. I want to do one of those, and I also want to take your suggestions for things that you guys want to see. Live Q&A, definitely. My favorite wrestler is Chris Jericho, Double A. He's my favorite of all time. But I want to do something like that, and I want to take suggestions for shows that you guys want to see. So I have a couple of things planned out. Like I said, the faction one is going to be the next one I do. After that, I'm going to come up with a few other ideas, and yeah, I mean, if Zach Rowe's a Jericho fan, then he's a friend of mine because Jericho's my guy. He's been my guy since I saw him first in ECW. So yeah, I got a lot of things planned out. I also want to, if you want to talk about other things, more Albert rants, don't worry. You're going to get them because I have a love-hate relationship with professional wrestling. I love it and I hate it. Yeah, so Zach is awesome then if Jericho is his favorite. Yeah, and Cody, how could you not like Jericho? He's the man. He's one of the main reasons. Him and Cody Rhodes are two of the bigger reasons why I want to watch AEW. Yo, yeah, absolutely. Let's fantasy book some stuff. That's going to be the next thing that I want to do. I want to fantasy book a whole bunch of different factions. What it would be like if they went against each other, who would win, who would rep faction in different matches, all that kind of stuff. What kind of matches we'd book them in. We'll have a lot of fun with it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for all of your love. Thank you guys for the support. Please like, subscribe, share. Sure, modern day versions of factions could work too, TJ. But like, subscribe, share. Let other people know that I'm doing this, and let's get a bigger crowd here so we can all have a lot more fun. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys soon, and take care.